Hey gang, I got an offer for you today from LinkedIn. As business-to-business marketers, your needs are unique. B2B buying cycles are long and your customers face incredibly complex decisions. Isn't it time you had a marketing platform built specifically for you? LinkedIn ads empower marketers with solutions for you and your customers. LinkedIn ads allow you to build the right relationships, drive results, and reach your customers in a respectful environment. On LinkedIn, you have direct access to build relationships with decision makers. Of the 875 million users on the network, 180 million are senior level executives. 10 million are C-level executives. You will also be able to drive results with targeting and measuring with their tools built specifically for B2B. And best of all, they work. Audiences exposed to brand messages on LinkedIn are 6 times more likely to convert. LinkedIn ads also rank number 1 for security, community, and ad experience as part of the Business Insider's Digital Trust Study. Make B2B marketing everything it can be and get a $100 credit. It's a $100 credit on your next campaign. Go to linkedin.com/MPN to claim your credit. It's linkedin.com/MPN. Terms and conditions apply. Entrepreneurs Enigma is a podcast for the ups and downs of entrepreneurship. It's about the wins and the fails that we all face being entrepreneurs, how we learn from adversity. Every week I talk to a different entrepreneur with a story to tell. I'm Seth Goldstein. Come with me on the journey. This is Entrepreneurs Enigma. Let's get started. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Entrepreneurs Enigma podcast. I am Seth. As always, it has never changed in 41 years or in 100 and something episodes. Anyhow, I am here with a good friend of mine, Geoffrey Klein, who is Mr. Purple himself. 9 Dots Media. Did I get that right? 9 Dots Media?
Yep, that is correct. Mr. Purple, 9 Dots.
Yes, this man loves the color purple. And I'm not just saying that because that's his company brand. The guy's always in purple. There's always some purple somewhere. And you know why? He also wears glasses, so those are purple. So he's always wearing purple. There you go. So Geoffrey is a amazing video guy. Animations, videos, strategy. I mean, what this guy comes up with is incredible. And I'm lucky enough to know the guy, so.
You're very kind. You're very kind.
And I learned just now that he's also a dual citizen. He is a Brit, but a Philadelphia Brit, which I guess
Yes,
that can be a thing now. A Philadelphia Brit. Is that possible?
Like it.
I guess that's yeah, I like that, but definitely. So, Geoffrey, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me, man. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so I'm excited.
Yes, you're in good company. I had Ashley, our buddy Ashley Owens, on the show way early in the program, and then
I love her.
We actually had never. I think we had met once way back when in person. Then we had been friends on LinkedIn. We had chatted on Zoom. All things happened in the last 3 years, and then we met in person again. And he's taller than I thought he was. Because because with Zoom, everyone's like you from the waist up, or not even the waist up, from the chest up, and you have no idea how tall these people are. I mean, you're not that tall. You're not like 7
I'm not
foot, but
that
I
tall.
thought you were shorter.
Yeah.
No, you're average height. But I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know how tall I thought Geoffrey was going to be. But okay. So Jeff, have you always been doing your own thing, or have you worked for the
No,
corporate man?
I've definitely worked for the corporate man. So when I graduated from college, I don't know if you know this, but I worked for a marketing genius. My first boss
Ooh.
out of college was Seth Godin.
Oh, you worked for Seth Godin?
I did.
He also looks purple too.
He does. Yeah, well, not that I got it from him. There's actually distinct reasons why purple I'm obsessed with. But I worked for Seth Godin, and then I wasn't quite ready for him, unfortunately, because a few years later is when he sold out to Yahoo for $30 million. But he is incredible, and
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate to have had an experience with him and someone who will actually, reply to my emails and things, and just a really
that's wild.
decent person and just brilliant. But I ended up getting pulled back to the family business, so I went and worked. I went to law school for 2 years in Temple, and then I left. People joke I was a law school dropout, and I moved to California. I wanted to work in the film industry. I did get credits out there and got a degree in law that I've never used, to the chagrin of
I know a lot of lawyers that have done law, either done the law school thing and never used it or done law a little bit and said, "Oh, no, 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 no. I'm not gonna do this."
I always joke I'll be a lawyer in the next life. So,
There you go.
and I think it was good in terms of it gave critical thinking skills and things like that,
Yes.
negotiation. And so I definitely think but the most important thing about me being a lawyer, I should say, the biggest benefit I think to having gone to law school is the
Mhm.
assumption that I'm not an idiot.
There
So
you go.
that if you've gone to law school, you must be smart. Like there's some weird
There's
um,
something there. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
correlation. But I'm much more excited about what I did after law school. So I worked
Yeah.
for a talent and literary agency in the story department was my first job, where I read a lot of
Ooh.
bad scripts. Think of the worst idea, and then that's what I was reading. But I was around amazing talent. They represented
Mhm.
Jim Carrey and M. Night Shyamalan, and just huge stars, both writing, directing.
Oh, that's wild.
And then I went to go work for the president of production of Paramount Pictures and got to see how
Oh,
movies
that's
got
all.
made.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you get the
I
real
did.
world
Yeah.
education, like, so no wonder you ended up in filming and
Yeah,
videos and stuff
I
like
think
that.
there's visual storytelling. When I talk about what I do, I
Yeah,
always
visual
say visual
storytelling. Yeah.
storytelling. And I had that background of working first in the president of production of Paramount, and then I got a subsequent job doing it for the president of production at MGM. So I saw
Oh,
how
geez,
movies
you went
got
all
made.
over town.
I did. I worked on, one of the Bond movies, and I worked on my big thing is I got credit for working on Legally Blonde because my daughters were like, "Oh, I love that." And when I told them I met Reese Witherspoon, they freaked out. I'm like, she's
Yeah.
one of those people and I don't know her well, but where she stayed very grounded despite her success.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
that's not true of everyone that I encountered
No,
in
no.
Hollywood.
Oh,
And
it's
then
a
I met and
special
fell in love with a
breed.
girl and moved to Manchester, England, and started working in real estate.
Ooh, that's
And
number one, you moved to England,
yeah,
and
that
then
was a
real
big.
estate is completely I mean, England maybe it's just a little bit of
Well, my
wow,
wife was
but then real
British,
estate.
so
Okay,
Nita
yeah,
was
makes
British, and we
sense.
decided like we wanted to be close to family. Her dad has worked
Yeah.
in real estate forever. That was the reason that I
Oh,
kind of like, okay, I'll go and work with him for a little bit.
but that kinda makes sense. You
And
go to a new country, you leave everything
yeah,
behind, you need a job, essentially.
kind of. Well, the thought was that I would work in real estate. I wanted to write, so I'd be a writer. So I'd written
Yeah.
a couple screenplays, and I was like, and then I always tell people what filled the space was my three children. So whatever discretionary time I may
Aw.
have had was filled by twin daughters, followed by a son. And I worked in real estate. I still have a real estate company in England where I own some properties and even a
You're a
couple of
little
English
far to
pubs.
fix the pipes.
Yeah, I got people to do
You
it.
got people.
And then I went to go work for a marketing company. I got frustrated with
Ah.
real estate. It's not what I wanted to do. I was like, not
Mhm.
creative. And having come from the film industry where it was all creative. So this
Mhm.
marketing thing, I'm like, oh, it's right left brain combination. And so I went to work for a
Yeah.
design agency that did brand and logos and websites. And I'm like, this is awesome. And so I did that for a couple of years. And then we would come visit Philadelphia to see my family. And then eventually we said we'd try it for a year. We came here for a
We
year.
tried.
And well, we knew there was a good chance we'd stay. And after
Yeah.
about 8 months, Nita said, I want to stay. I said, you're the boss. I says, but maybe I should find a job because I was working remotely for the design agency and my real estate company when we first moved here. I said, maybe I
Oh,
should find a
wow,
job
time
here.
change, yeah.
Yeah, it was a
Time
little cray
zones.
cray. I'd get up really early in the morning, not by choice.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
eventually, I was really fortunate. I got a job for a boutique brand marketing agency called Tag
Oh,
Strategies,
I've heard
who
of them,
were
yeah.
just really great people. Both they had that real combination of strategy and creative combined.
We're gonna take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and get right back to the show.
We know you listen to Marketing Podcast Network shows like this one because you are smart, discerning, and have impeccable taste. We've been brainstorming ways to reward you for listening and have something. MPN is a proud sponsor of the Creator Economy Expo 2023. That means you get a discount. This event is for content creators and entrepreneurs interested in building and growing their content-first businesses. Join over 500 bloggers, podcasters, authors, newsletter writers, speakers, coaches, consultants, and freelancers at the learning and networking event for content creators. Plan to attend May 1st through the 3rd in Cleveland, Ohio, and just for listening to the Marketing Podcast Network, you get $100 off your ticket. Go to cex.events to register. Use the coupon code MPN100. That's cex.events. Just type that into your browser, the whole thing, cex.events. The code MPN100. Creator Economy Expo, Cleveland, May 1st through the 3rd. See you there.
The head was
Perfect.
equally those parts. And I got to really dive deep into marketing, both and brand. I drank the Kool-Aid. I believe brand is so important. hence the personal
Yeah.
brand, the branding, and I make a distinction between brand and branding.
Yeah.
And then after about 2.5 years, having worked for myself, I knew I eventually wanted to probably have my own
Yeah.
company. And so I started 9 Dots about 6.5 years ago. And interesting about my
Wow.
entrepreneurial journey started, I said, what do you need? And so I was
That's
like,
always fun.
like, I
Open-ended.
got a guy. Yeah, I was, so I did brand strategy, social media, logo, website,
Yeah.
and then digital marketing.
Mhm.
And I did SEO, and I had partners who I'd bring in to do these things.
I think that's when we
At one
met
point,
originally.
yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, I can do
I
all this
think,
other
yeah.
shit. And thankfully, I recognized for me, I don't make judgments about anyone
Yeah.
else. I was involved in marketing in areas I just didn't have passion or excitement for, and so
Mhm.
eventually I stopped promoting other stuff other than visual storytelling, other than video and animation production. But people would say, hey, can you do a website? I'm like, sure. And so I do. And then eventually, about 2 years ago, I
Oh,
said no.
wow.
And so 2 years ago, I said, and I wasn't doing a lot of it, but someone would say to me, can you do us a website? And I'd say no, but I can put you in touch with someone who can. And so I stopped doing
Exactly.
all the other parts of marketing that I didn't really want to be involved with. And so I
Yeah.
thankfully know lots of great people like you who I can pass them on to do those
Yeah.
things. And I now stay in my lane and we produce video and animation. We're content creators and I really love it. And I think we do a better job because that's all we do.
Mhm.
We don't,
I love
we
it.
work with a lot of marketing partners to
Yeah.
help be a resource. That's the role I try and play.
I love it. So why purple? I gotta know. I think you told me in the past, but why purple?
Yeah, so there's a couple of reasons. It was my late mother's favorite color. So I
Yeah.
honoring my mother in a way that every day it's my favorite color. So it's kind of whether
Yeah.
that happened by default. And then my wife is British. So it's the color of royalty. So I always say I wear
Is
it because
it?
it's my way of
Oh.
honoring the monarchy. So that's why I wear
Oh,
purple.
careful with that, especially with us rebel scum over here.
Yeah. But the monarchy, not the specific monarchy, but monarchy as the institution and with the rich history
Yeah.
I make no
know,
comments about the
absolutely.
royal family.
No, you keep
Yeah, and
you
I
stay out of
think
that
again,
mess.
it's a color of creativity and things like that. So there's
It
also
is.
reasons in terms of
And it
what
looks
we
good on
do.
you too. It's a color
Yeah,
that
well.
it doesn't clash. You know, and
Yeah, but now that once I went that way, I went all in, and that was the
you
thing
did.
that people. The reason behind it, people know I am Mr.
Yeah.
Purple, and that as a branding piece
Mr.
is
Purple.
great. I love it, and I love that people identify purple because it now becomes a personal branding thing that I think is fun. One of my
And
core
it's
values is
strong.
trying to have
It's
fun.
strong
And,
too.
yeah,
Like people, I
it
think
works for
purple.
me.
I honestly, I think purple. I think Jeff. I really
There you
do.
go.
I see purple. I'm like, you pop in my head. I'm like, I should reach out to Jeff and say hi. So there you go.
There you go.
So
That's my
what?
hope is that people see purple and
There
they
you go. So what is the best thing about being an entrepreneur? Because you've done it a few times in different.
I think there's two things. Yeah, I think the two things are. I used to say freedom, and I think that's a misnomer because you work
There's no
harder than
freedom.
you do if you work. I think it's
Yeah.
flexibility is the real
That's
thing.
more the word.
Flexibility.
Yes.
Because you still have tons to do, and I work at late at night or work in the morning. But I wanted to have the ability to go and see my son's basketball game, to go and see my daughter's volleyball game, to be able to have the control of my own schedule. And I think that's and not have to be to someone else, responsible to someone else, beholden.
Yeah.
Exactly. The second part is that as hard as I work, then or as smart as I work, the benefit is mine. So a lot of people who are not entrepreneurs work really hard and don't get the appreciation, don't get the compensation, don't get, the fulfillment because it's all being done by someone else. Now, there are companies that have great culture and get above that and you don't mind.
Yeah.
But for me, I think there's something about it, ownership of what I do,
Yes.
good and bad.
Oh,
When things go wrong, I don't blame anyone but myself. Yeah. And that's kind of, I think, partly how I've been raised. Like, you should always take personal responsibility for things. And so I like that it's part and parcel of what I do.
That's fantastic. So on the flip side, what keeps you up at night?
Yeah. Well, I have twin daughters who are about to go to college. So
I'll do it.
I think about them, and I think about them in all the different ways. Being a parent is keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
And I have 3 great kids, so even in the best of
So
things.
even if they're great and they're not knuckleheads, you gotta worry about the other knuckleheads.
Yeah, right, exactly. I think parenting is the type of thing where you try really hard to instill those values and have those conversations, and then
Yeah.
it's, you have
It's
to let them
crazy.
go. But I don't want
It's
them to
tough.
go. I'm in denial. But I think what keeps me up at night is it's strange. It's not usually worry as much as ideation. I think I'm an idea guy. So
Mm.
I have fitful nights because I'm thinking about, wait, I should include that in my book, or, oh, wait, for this project, I should do that. So I think what's keeping me up is my overactive mind. It's one of the, because like you, I have a lot of different ideas about different things I want to do and different things. And so keeping it honed in is sometimes a
That's
challenge.
tough.
I definitely suffer from shiny object syndrome, where I'm like,
I
oh
can relate.
yeah, this is something new. And I have to remind myself to come back to the core foundation of stuff, of what
Mhm.
works, not like this thing over here that someone's dangling, but, oh, wait a minute, what's it?
Yeah.
And being consistent about things. And so it's
Mhm.
being an entrepreneur is hard work, but I think if you're doing something you enjoy, it's rewarding. And I think that's the big benefit is it's
So
good.
what is the most important thing to carry with you all the time?
Physically,
It can be
or
either. You can go as deep and as introspective as you want, or it could be your purple pen with purple ink.
I think the most important thing is perspective. Because I think a lot of times we get caught up in the moment. And if you can carry with you perspective to recognize, no, this is not as big a deal as you think it is. And it's not nearly as
Mhm.
important as you think it is. And I think with perspective, recognition of what really matters. That's the ability to
Mhm.
come back. Because for me, all this fun and games and all these things comes back to my family. It's like, that's the most important thing. That's why I work as hard as I work. That's why I try and do what I love. When I worked in real estate and hated it, I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
can't change my job because I have a mortgage to pay and car payments, and I have to support my
Mhm.
family. And thankfully, for whatever reason, I was aware enough to go, no, because of my family, I have to get out of this because I'm miserable.
Mhm.
I'm miserable. I don't want
Miserable.
to. And so, as a
You don't
role
want to see a
model,
miserable Geoffrey. Yeah.
no, it's not a happy space. It's not. And I like to think of myself as a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. And there
You're
were
a
moments
very happy
where
person. I cannot imagine a sad Jeff.
it
Would not be
happens,
good.
but less and less. And I think
That's
that anyone
tough, which is
considering
key.
entrepreneurship, when you think about, the old saying, if you find out something you love to do for work, then you don't work a day in your life. And I believe that
Mm.
there's always going to be elements of any job, of any
Yes.
career, of any company that you're not going to love to do. Do I love doing the
No.
accounting? And I usually have
hate
people,
that stuff. Yeah.
I try and have other people do the stuff that I don't like. And I think there is important
Yeah.
to get to a point where, when you're a solopreneur and you're like, oh, well, I have to do everything. No, you have to do everything. You have to be accountable for everything, but there are lots of people who can
Yeah.
help you. And having that team of
Yes.
people to do the different things that you don't. And I was going to mention this earlier. So when people say, oh, you do video and animation, they immediately assume I'm an animator. And I'm like, I couldn't animate myself out of a paper bag. Like, I'm a producer, which is a
You have the
different role.
idea. Yeah.
I take things from the idea and I'm in control of the process. So I always talk about myself as
Yes.
being an interpreter. I am the interpreter or the bridge between the business client and the creative team. Because my creative
Yes.
team, as awesome as they are, don't always understand the kind of objectives of business, and the business people don't always understand how creative works. And my job is to know enough about each side to get what I
Bring
need
them
from
together.
them, to give to them, to connect the dots. Ooh, I got to say it.
Yeah.
That's all about
Connect the
connecting
9 dots.
the 9 dots.
Exactly.
Exactly.
There you go. So, Jeff, thanks so much for being on the program. This has been such a joy. I love hanging out with you. So, where can people find you online? 9dots.com.
So, nonlessmedia.com. And then I'm also, as a speaker, is ggklein.com. That's probably our most active on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn.
Instagram.
And then, the one thing I'll just share is it's not quite there ready for the public, but I'm writing a book. So that's coming out hopefully in the fall.
Oh,
The beast is coming. The beast is coming. That's the hit. That's my little teaser.
I have a book. I have a book in me, and I have about the outline done, and I'm like, now what? It's getting over that hump.
I invested it in a book program. with someone
Good.
that I think is going to get the book done better and faster.
Good.
So
Oh,
sometimes
there
you
you
just have
go.
to.
I can't wait to read it. I want an autographed
I'm
copy,
excited.
Jeff.
100%. 100%.
I can't wait. In purple ink.
In purple ink, the cover will be purple, I'm afraid to say.
Oh, of course it's going to be purple. Of course it's going to be purple. It has to be purple. There you go. So, Jeff, thanks for being on, and we'll see everyone next week.
Thanks so much.
That was a great show. Hey, if you're enjoying Entrepreneurs Enigma, please give us a review on the podcast directory of your choice. We're on all of them. And these reviews really help others find the show. Also, if you're getting value from the show and want to buy me a coffee, go to the show notes and click on the link to help me stay awake while I bring you more great episodes to your ears. That's in the show notes, and I look forward to the next episode. Take care, guys. Goldstein Media hopes you have enjoyed this episode. This podcast is one of the many great shows on the MPN Marketing Podcast Network.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Sarah Panus hosts a great podcast called Marketing with Empathy. Sarah, tell us what these fine folks will get when they listen.
Marketing with Empathy is a weekly podcast, and it's designed for brand content marketers who want to connect with their audiences through storytelling and are looking for help to do it better, plus enjoy that recognition, growth, and just joy that comes from creating great work.
Awesome. Where can people subscribe?
Yeah, head on over to marketingpodcast.net and you will see the Marketing with Empathy show there. Otherwise, wherever you listen to podcasts, you'll find Marketing with Empathy.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.